एक जिंदगी मेरी सौ ख्वाहिशां, हाँ एक जिंदगी मेरी सौ ख्वाहिशां, मैं पूरी
Oh, the video has started. I already know that. I only have started the video, right? Anyway, I hope your day is going good and you're preparing for the upcoming competitive exams. Okay, fine. All the best for that. And now for continuation of yesterday's video or previous video, right? So we were discussing in that video about displacement, distance, velocity and speed, and also we entered into the domain of average velocity. And one kind of question has already been discussed. In case of average velocity, there are two more major categories in which average velocity can be asked. Okay, the second type of asking question in case of average velocity is this: is when a particle travels the entire journey in two equal halves, with different velocities, matlab, let's say the total distance is s. Let's say the total journey of the particle is s. The particle will start from A, the particle will eventually go to point B, right? Of this total journey, a distance of s by 2 is travelled with a velocity of v1 and a distance of remaining s by 2 is travelled with a velocity of v2. This case is what we are talking about here, right? When the particle travels the total journey in two equal halves, okay? And this half it travelled with the velocity of v1, this half it travelled with the velocity of v2, and in this case we need to calculate the average velocity. And again, what is average velocity? As discussed, average velocity is simply total displacement by total time. And understand this one concept. You don't really have to know many formula for average velocity. You need to know only one: total distance by total time. No matter how the question is asked, your answer always lies in this: total displacement divided by total time. So let's say total displacement is s and total time required for this journey is t. Okay, but this t, I think I can divide it in two different times. Time required for this journey of a displacement of s by 2, let that time be t1 and let the remaining time be t2, and I'm pretty sure that t1 plus t2 will be equal to this total time t. So t1 plus t2 will be equal to t. So I can rewrite this formula something like this: s divided by t1 plus t2, right? But to get this answer, I need to know t1 and t2 both. Not that they've not given t1 and t2. Look at this. The question goes something like this: of the total displacement s, the particle travelled half the distance with the velocity of v1 and remaining half the distance with the velocity of v2. No mention of t1 and t2 there, right? You have to find the values of t1 and t2 and get the answer, right? So let's see. This time t1, I think, can be written like this: this time will be this displacement by this velocity, because velocity is displacement by time. So time is displacement by velocity, right? So time t1 is this displacement divided by this velocity. So average velocity anyway is s divided by t1 is going to be, like I said, t1 is going to be equal to this displacement by this velocity, which is s by 2 v1, right? Continue. This time t2 will be that displacement by that velocity, which is s by 2 v2. So all you have to do now is simplify this to get the average velocity. So let's say average velocity now is, I think I can take this s common, which will cancel with that s. So s's are gone. I can also take 1 by 2 common, and then 1 by 2 will go to numerator. So that will give me 2 divided by 1 by v1 plus 1 by v2. right? Take LCM, simplify this. If you simplify this, you will get your answer as 2v1 v2 divided by v1 plus v2. Take your time, get this, solve this and get this answer, okay? And trust me, I'm right in this case, that average velocity, if you simplify this, you will get 2v1 v2 divided by v1 plus v2. Okay, so average velocity in this case, what case? A case where the total journey is traveled with two different velocities for equal intervals of length, not equal interval, with equal displacement. Half the displacement with the velocity of v1, remaining half of the displacement with the velocity of v2. In this case, the average velocity is 2v1 v2 divided by v1 plus v2. That is second category. Okay, second category is that. Let's look at one more case. This is the case where total displacement is divided in two halves. Second case would be a one where total time is divided in two halves. This is total displacement divided in two equal halves. That case would be total time divided in two equal halves, right? So let's look at case 3. Case 3 is when the total time is divided into equal intervals of different velocities, meaning, let's say total displacement, again I'll start with the same thing. Total displacement, let's say, is S from point A to point B. Let's say total time required is T. T is the total time is T, okay? Of this T, for an interval of T by 2, that particle, let's say, has traveled this much distance, and in the remaining interval of time of T by 2, let's say the particle has traveled that distance. And look at this diagram, looks like this distance is less than this distance. In the first half, the particle seems to have traveled lesser distance than in the second half of the time. I don't know, maybe this velocity v1 is less than this velocity v2, right? With a greater velocity, in the same time, the particle has traveled greater distance. With a lesser velocity, in the same time, the particle has traveled lesser distance. End result is the same, that in this time plus this time, in a total time of t, the particle has undergone a displacement of s with two different velocities of v1 and v2. Now here again, your job is to calculate the average velocity, get an expression. In fact, it's not like a question, this is a question, this is a case, at the end of which we'll be getting a formula or a result. Okay, fine, continue. So I want to calculate average velocity. Looks like the definition of average velocity has not changed in last 5 minutes, didn't, right? So average velocity is again total displacement divided by total time, S by T. Here I already know what T is going to be equal to. I need to work on S, right? Let's see. Can I write S as S1 plus S2, where, wait for it, S1 is this distance, guys. S1 is this distance. S1 is this distance. S1 is distance during the first half of the time, and S2 is the distance during second half of the time. So S1 is this distance, S2 is this distance, and clearly, therefore I can write S1 plus S2 as S. Right? Fine. Now let's see what S1 is going to be equal to. S1 will now be equal to S1, oh wait, is displacement velocity into time? Right? So if displacement is velocity into time, I can write S1 as this velocity into this time. So S1 is, V1 into T by 2. Right. Look at this. S1 is V1 into this time, V1 into this time, V1 into T by 2. S2 will be V2 into T by 2. So it will be V2 into T by 2. This will be my total displacement, which I think I can simplify a little bit. S will be equal to, look at this, I can take T by 2 common into V1 plus V2. No big deal, right? So S is T by 2 into V1 plus V2. I'll use this back in the very basic formula. Look at this. Average velocity is total displacement by total time. I'll substitute it in that. So average velocity, which is total displacement by total time, but I've got my total displacement as this, which I'll write as, I don't know, t by 2 into v1 plus v2. This is just me writing s for s. This is s divided by t. Right? I think tt gets cancelled. And therefore I'll get average velocity as v1 plus v2 by 2. Simple as that. So average velocity when a particle travels the total journey in two equal intervals of time is v1 plus v2 by 2. Right? And see the difference. When the total distance is divided in two equal halves of journeys, the expression was 2v1 v2 by v1 plus v2. And when the total journey is divided in two equal intervals of time, then average velocity is v1 plus v2 by 2. Did you understand this? Fine. Now, wait. Two simplest of questions I'll ask and then one interesting question based on this. Please listen to this. So I hope you understood. When total journey is divided in two equal intervals of, two halves of the distances, then 2v1 v2 by v1 plus v2. And when it is two equal intervals of time, the total time is divided into equal intervals of time, then the average velocity is simply v1 plus v2 by 2. This is like the weighted, this is just like the average mean of two velocities, right? Mean of two velocities. Can I extend it to more than two velocities? Totally, right? Fine. Now let's see. Let's look at simplest of questions one can ask in this case. Simplest of question one can ask in this case is this. Please listen. Fine. So I have this question, and wait for me to completely give you the question. Let's say this distance is 2000 meters. The total distance in 2 points is 2000 meters. This is like the second category question. Second category question is that the 1000 meter of distance, the particle travels with the velocity of 20 meter per second, and the remaining 1000 meter of journey, the particle travels with the velocity of 40 meter per second. Right? Your question is that calculate average velocity in this case. Calculate average velocity in this case. Wait. That is one question. This is of second category. Second category first question. And now I'll ask you third category first question. Third category first question goes something like this. Again the same distance. A total distance of 2000 meter. A total distance of 2000 meter. For half the time, I don't know how much that time is, but for half the time, the particle traveled with the velocity of 20 meter per second, and for the remaining half of the time, the particle traveled with the speed of 40 meter per second. Do you understand the difference between this question and this question? Here, half the journey with different velocities. Here, half of the interval with different velocities. Also, the question is to calculate average velocity in this case. Now before you answer this question, ask yourself whether the answers will be same. No, answer will not be same. Okay. Now quickly pause the video and give me the answer to these questions. Let's see if our answers will tally with your answers. Okay. Fine. Give it a try. Fine. Let's see. So average velocity in this case, this is which category? Second category. So the formula is going to be equal to 2v1 v2 divided by v1 plus v2, which will give me, what will it give me? 2 times v1 v2, 20 into 40 divided by v1 plus v2, which is 60. If I simplify this, I'll write here 0 0 gone. I'm left with 20 into 4, which is 80, into 2, which is 160. 160 by 6. If I simplify it, I can write average velocity. 160 by 6 is also 80 by 3 meter per second. 80 by 3 meter per second in this case. Average velocity. Let's calculate average velocity in this case. Here, what's the formula? I think it was even simpler. v1 plus v2 divided by 2, which is 20 plus 40 by 2, which is 30, I think, right? So 20 plus 40 by 2, which is 30 meter per second. Did you see the difference? Here the answer is 80 by 3. 80 by 3 is something close to 26.33 or 66, 26 point something basically, this answer. But this answer is 30 meter per second. And now, wait, is it necessary that this is always, this case average velocity is always going to be greater than this velocity? No, it just happened to be like this. But note this for sure, that this is not equal to this. I hope you're getting the point, and I hope you're getting a hold on what average velocity is. What is average velocity? Again, after all this discussion, average velocity is still the same as it was before starting the discussion. Right? What is average velocity? Average velocity is displacement, the total displacement by total time. Right? Fine. Now listen to this question. One very interesting question. I hope you understood this. I'll erase this. What? I think I wrote with full josh here. It's not going on. Fine. Listen to this question. This is a question from a very famous book, and very nice question this. Okay. Questions are asked in variables. Okay, please. First, I'll just say the question, then I'll explain you what the question is. A particle travels half of its total displacement with a velocity of v naught. Half of the total displacement with the velocity of v naught. Of the remaining half displacement, for half the interval, the particle goes with the velocity of v1, and remaining half of the time interval, the particle goes with the velocity of v2. Calculate the average velocity for the total journey. Okay? Fine. Wait. I'll explain you the question. No worry. Of the total displacement, say the total displacement is S. Of the total displacement, the first half of the displacement, the particle travels with the velocity of v naught. Okay? Continue. Of the remaining half of the displacement, for half the time interval, not half the displacement of the remaining half. No. Half the time interval, the particle traveled with the velocity of v1, and remaining half of the interval, the particle traveled with the velocity of v2. And wait, t by 2 plus t by 2, is that the total journey? No. T by 2 plus t by 2, this is half the time of the remaining time. So half of the time of the remaining time, the particle traveled with the velocity of v1, and half the time of the remaining time, the particle traveled with the velocity of v2. This is that journey apart from this first half of the distance. I hope you understood this. Right? Now in this case, the question is to calculate the average velocity. I hope you understood the question, right? Now your answer will be in terms of variables only. Your answer can only be in terms of v0, v1 and v2. Like, I don't know, 10 v0 plus v1 plus v2, whatever. In terms of these variables, your answer should be in terms of these variables. Okay? If I give numbers, it will only make a question more complicated, right? So try to answer the question in terms of this and this. Please try this question after the video and write your answer in the comment. Okay? I'll reply there. Fine. This is a very interesting question actually, but before this, first you need to understand the two categories. Okay? Two categories are where the total journey is divided in two equal halves, and second is where the total journey is divided in two equal intervals of time. When the total journey is divided in two equal displacements, formula is 2v1 v2 by v1 plus v2, and when it is divided in two equal intervals of times, then the formula is v1 plus v2 by 2. It's just like taking the mean of both the velocities. Okay? I hope you understood whatever happened in this class, and yeah, if there is any doubt, please watch that part again. You'll definitely understand. Okay? All the best. Have a good day. Bye. Take care.